Welcome to the 2025 season predictions video here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. This is version number 8. This is season 8 of coverage here on the channel, and there's a lot to get through. We're going to play it as a game. We're going to go through a number of different categories. We're all going to try and predict where we are. If you were watching the fan cams recently, I asked a lot of people around, most improved, best and fairest, questions like that. So I want to get everyone involved, and I want all of you to document some answers to some questions below. And then we're going to revisit this video at the end of the year and see where it takes us. It also means, I'm filming this on Sunday, the 2nd of March. It also means that it's like round 1 week. Well, it's more so opening round week, start of the AFL season week. We're going to watch a few games at the end of next week, which won't be us, but I think that'll only build the anticipation for Thursday night, round 1 against the Tigers. So, let's get into it. Let's start off with number of wins. So whether you just do a ladder predictor or if you just have an eye on the Carlton number of wins, we'll go into that. So when I did my predictor, when the fixture first came out, I did it then. I found 17 wins, and I've done it just now, and I find 17 wins as well. Now, keep in mind, everything I say about Carlton in this video is based on my logic. I'm going to get to my heart at the end of the video, but this is logic. I am under the impression that this group is in the sweet spot because of the age profile. We've locked in our 6 or 7 max contracts, apart from one. I think Tom de Koning's the next one. 6 or 7 guys who we build a list around and we give our most investment to. They're all in a really nice part of their careers. They've been in the system for at least 5, 6, 7 seasons now. So we're in that part of their experience. And so this, in my view, this is it. This is the group for this period of time that's ready to launch for this next couple of years, however long it will be. But I just think this is it. We are here. We're in the sweet spot, and they're ready. They've had not only a number of pre-seasons under their belt, they've had enough time to work on their game, their bodies. They understand what their individual bodies need to get up for a game every week and for every season. There's been heartbreak. There's been disappointment. There's been a real test of character, the resilience, all of it. They've had it. And I think now they're ready to apply all the knowledge. And I think we've seen it in patches over the last 2 seasons, but I'm under the impression, logically, this group is going to start showing that when you have a group that's been together for so long, particularly the core, there's a benefit to that. And so I'm under the impression that's what we're going to see in 2025. We're going to start seeing the fact that these guys have been together for so long. They know each other in and out. And therefore, we're ready. So 16, 17 wins. Listen, logically, I've got us finishing 2nd or 3rd. I think the Lions will be right up there. I think the Pies will be right up there, I believe, in Collingwood. I think when there's a narrative around them being too old, but with age comes experience. And I just believe that they're going to be great. I think the Giants will also be great. So those are my top 4. Brisbane, Carlton, Collingwood, and the Giants. That's my top 4. For what it's worth, I've got Geelong, Freo, Hawthorn, and Melbourne, rounding out the rest of my 8. So that's that. Now, what happens after the season is the big question. We need to play finals at the MCG. I think we all know that. And I think also my hope, I'm not convinced about this yet, but my hope is that the playing group start taking ownership of it. The last preseason match we just saw against the Giants, we saw a clip with, I think, inside the clip, a message to the external. And that is that the players themselves have chosen the language that they want to use, and they've chosen the style that they want to play. It's not being demanded of them by the coaches. Like, they have themselves put the message out there that this is what they want as a playing group. And I think that's the missing piece from the team on field, going from a good to okay team that can make the finals. I think every team that plays in the finals is a good team. And then obviously the ones at the very top, the top 4 or the top 2, they're the great teams. So that's the gap. Can the players take ownership of themselves and their fortunes. So that's where I think the season plays out. And if that's the case, we're in for a bumper year, an incredible year. I do feel this angst and this frustration and almost a lowering of the expectations, which I think is born out of constant disappointment, the way last year ended, the way 2025 started. A big part of the trust element for me to the club is I've been so sure that we've had the right people in the right positions. Coach, CEO, president. The president piece was just thrown off course. So it's just got my guard up, if I'm honest. And then also just things that I personally see, not so much on the field, but off the field. And even just in the identity of the club, our people, just filled with things that concern me. Whether it's just greed, whether it's just over-marketing things, bypassing the sense of true community and hiding behind the fact that the club's profitable to describe successful. I'm mindful of that. And I think the only thing that can really get in Carlton's way this year is the club. It's us. It's everyone involved, whether it's the suits at the top, the corporate mentality of, working together and stronger together, but also wanting the promotion and wanting the label and the title and self-interest. And then also within the fan base, the petulance, the jealousy, just the negativity and the toxicity that can come to the surface in all facets. Everyone has it. And just learning how to deal with all of that big machine of, there's really beautiful elements of the club, but there's also really toxic, dark, and quite frankly, evil elements that I personally see. So can we put that all together and just get it together for a patch and go all the way? Who knows? So there's that. Now turning to the playing group, let's start with maybe just a general overview of who has stood out in the preseason and the way their bodies are moving. And I think this will lead into some of the predictions. One of the questions I've asked a lot is most improved and best and fairest. So I think what we'll do is we'll do most improved, best and fairest, and say breakout player. But breakout player could also be the most improved. However, there is a flaw in the most improved question, and that is because there were so many players in 2024 who fell below their, regular output and their expectations of themselves and maybe our expectations of them because they were injured. So we had so many of them. Case in point, someone like Jesse Motlop or Adam Chera. Like clearly Adam Chera could be most improved, but the bar was pretty low. And it was dropped last year because he just wasn't able to get on the park. I think Sam Walsh is in that category too. Like he just didn't play at his best. Still had a pretty good year. So most improved for me, the one that I think will show the most improvement in his game, based on what I've seen in the preseason, it would have to be, I think Orazio Fantasia. I don't think I would have said that at the end of last year, but the reason why I'm saying it now, he's had a bit of continuity now in his body. I think we saw the most games from him that we've seen in a long time in his career. So there's that. Following that is a full preseason from all reports. Following that, he's looking a lot stronger in the way his body's moving in this preseason. And then also better connection with his teammates. He's no longer the new guy at the club. Hopefully more settled. And he also made a comment, which I just can't get out of my head, when he did his summer sessions interview with Christian Filippo, just talking about the belonging to the club and just feeling that sense of home, and he's felt it straight away. And surely that's got to factor into something when you are not anxious about whether or not you fit in. And it allows you to find that flow and find your groove. And so I think Orazio is going to shut a lot of people up. I think Orazio is going to prove a lot of people wrong. I value experience and age in this group. I think we've needed it for a while. And I just think he can really light up a game. His role can oftentimes be underappreciated by external, but at the same time, all that matters is what's happening in the four walls. So I think Raz is going to have a most improved year. I think we're going to see him fill the goal void that Matt always left. I think Jesse can do it as well. I just think we'll be talking about Orazio in a really positive light at the end of 2025. So Orazio, Fantasia for most improved. By the way, when you do your predictions below in the comments, just one name, just to make it difficult. So there's that. Now, the big breakout is, for me, this might be boring and easy, but it's just Tom de Koning. It's all the elements are there. And one thing I think the club need to be, for sure, they need to be patted on the back, congratulated. And I think there's a lesson, if you zoom out, that I think has been learned. The way we manage the career of Matthew Cruiser, for example, and just learning the lessons of that. And the way that we've managed Tom's career and the way that we've managed Tom's growth. We've not completely thrown him into senior football straight away. We've also always seemed to have had another ruckman who can carry a bit of a load for him. Even with Pito up until this year. Now, I don't know what that dynamic's going to look like moving forward and, 2 ruck, 1 ruck, but just all the elements of Pito being there. If Tom needed a rest, Pito was always there. And now I think Tom's grown physically, mentally, and all of it. I just think it's all there. Plus, you've got this contract year coming up, whether he signs before the season starts or not. I'm really ready for Tom. And I think Tom's ready to just take it all and become a leader of the group and a leader of the club. And I think that is going to be a big part of whether or not we're able to jump up. Because Tom has ability that very few rucks do. He's got something. And he also plays with this joy. And he also is a joyful person. Beautiful family man. I remember I was walking out of the ground after the St Kilda match simulation. And as I was walking, I heard behind me someone calling out to Tom, like Tommy, and it was his mum. And in that moment, I was just reminded there's a really big, beautiful, loving family element to Tom. And you see him smile on his face. He's just got this happiness and he brings joy. And you just can't help but smile when you see him. And he's got that about him. And I think he's a shining light. So I think he's ready to break out. We saw a 5-6 game patch last year, and he has shown signs in other games as well. But to really take control of it and genuinely be in the All-Australian squad 2025. That's where I see Tom. Does he make the team? I don't know. But I see him really taking that next leap. And it's going to be great for us if he does that. Best and fairest. Cripps or Wiedering? Oh, you got to pick one. Okay. Got to pick one. Okay. If that's the case, then I'll go with Jacob Wiedering to do it again. Sam Walsh would have been the answer, no doubt. And I guess if Tom elevates the way that I just said, maybe it'll be Tom. I'm not so sure about Sam's preseason and how much that'll affect him. He's shown his ability to perform without a preseason. But yeah, I just think Cripps has become such a thinker of the game more than ever before. So I've got that in my mind. But Jacob Wiedering, now that he has a few mates around him that he can trust, I think he's going to continue to elevate. And I think, you listen to the rhetoric from the club, it's defense first. So what we value is our defense. And I think he's there. Leading goal kicker, I think it's Harry Mackay. I think Charlie, I don't know about Charlie at this point in time. Like I said, filming this before the season starts, I just get this eerie feeling around Charlie. He's had an awful history with his knee injuries, and he hasn't had much of a preseason. And so I just have this feeling that Charlie's not going to be at his absolute best. I still think he'll come back and be great in moments. But, you got to give yourself the best chance. So I think Harry's ready to explode in a big way. 8 goals round 1 against the Tigers and 75 goals. I really see it. I really do see it from Harry. He's had the continuity They talk about him consistently showing up, being available for every session. There was a little murmur around him finishing the game earlier against the Giants. So hopefully he's okay. But I think Harry's ready. And then an unpredicted storyline for 2025, or a hot take for 2025. What's a hot take for 2025? Well, at the start of preseason, I was all aboard the Elijah Hollins train. I was all aboard the Elijah Hollins All-Australian elevation. And now, obviously, with Jagger going down for the year, there's just such an opportunity there for somebody to take that light. We lose Kennedy, obviously, so there's minutes there in the midfield, half forward, which I think we thought Jagger would do. This is super hot, but I have liked what I've seen from his body and the way he's moving, and that's Zach Williams. Now, Zach Williams is the only one left from we'll call them the recruits from that 2019-2021 period, we just haven't seen anything close to the best of him. I still think the best of Zach Williams happened at the Giants. And so in 2025, and if this is to happen, then we really do push from a good team to a great team. But if Zach Williams can actually do it and have the best season of his career, and we get to the end of the year and he's played 22 games and he's kicked 35 to 40 goals, best case scenario, obviously, and even have those moments in the midfield, maybe not 35 goals, but maybe 25 to 30, and then help fill the void in the midfield a little bit, give us a little bit of something else, because he's got that ability to dance through traffic and do the seemingly impossible things and make him look easy. And he has for a long time been the what-if player, and we've had a lot of the what-if players, but I'm going to back him in. I think first of all, you look at his life, fatherhood, his focus. He's no longer the new guy that's on the big contract that's come to Melbourne. He's still on a big contract, and therefore there has been a significant investment. But the family life, all of that, his focus, also the heartbreak, missing so much footy, doing the ACL after having done a really good preseason. Now being in the second year off that ACL and coming off 18 games, my big take is that Zach Williams puts himself into the All-Australian squad. I'm going to back him in. Hot take. So I want you to do the same exercise. In the comments below, write down your predictions for how you see the season playing out. Number of wins, most improved, best and fairest, breakout player. And then also maybe touch on, this is all best case scenario. I think that's what a lot of us would do. In my heart, and maybe it's just the scar tissue, we'll call it, from how last year ended and the recency bias potentially. In my heart, there's this underlying fear, if I'm honest, around, I touched on it earlier in this video, just around the club getting in our own way. There's so many elements to this club, for the good and for the bad. And the biggest thing is, will we get in our own way with the management of injuries, the competing interests overlapping and one pushing itself ahead of the other? I don't know. There's, and I have spoken about what I sense to be a misalignment, and I still feel it. I'm being honest, not trying to fearmonger or be negative for the sake of being negative. I just feel it. And then the optimist always comes in. Is this the spot to be in? Is this exactly where we need to be? Where with lower expectations because we've had a bout of injuries and ACLs and season ending misfortunes and controversy, and even the external world, it's perfect. Nathan Buckley saying we won't make the 8. A lot of pundits, a lot of the public sentiment saying, predicting a Carlton dip. Is this the sweet spot where there's a bit of doubt? And I think there needs to be a bit of doubt. The hype train that we generate is unlike many other clubs. Like when we're up and about, because the fan base is so starved of seeing premiership success or anything close to it, we just jump onto it. You know, you look back at when we beat Geelong last year, flying, absolutely flying. We had people booking tickets from overseas for September, getting ready because I thought this might be the year. So there's that point too. I do think we're going to get on a roll at some point and the hype's going to explode. And David King and Kane Corns and Nathan Buckley and all of them will be talking about how we're a genuine contender again. I think that's coming. I also think the big challenge of the year is coming as well. Whether that be an on-field challenge or an off-field challenge, something's coming, and it happens to every club, and how we deal with that and how we work through that is going to be the difference between us winning it or not. But I do think we're in a handful of teams that are ready with the profile of the list. You know, need a bit of good luck, need some good fortune, and you need it all to align. So, yeah, there's your 2025 season predictions. Please contribute below. We will revisit these predictions at the end of the season. I look forward to seeing where it all plays out, and we'll go from there. Go Blues.